So, hello everybody. Today we've got about 4 videos. We've got a pretty interesting one, which is, let's see, a video talking about how humans today are so dark, even the devil would look away in shame. But all I can say is no, humans are not the evil. The structure behind them is, and that is the one producing all the evil. And until man can fix that, he will fix absolutely nothing. And this is what he cannot see. Then the next one is Andrew Tate talking to Clavicular at the UFC event, and he's talking about how he wants to fight. And I say, Andrew, you're fighting at the wrong layer. You're wasting your potential for what you can do because you're literally a sword that could literally alter the world overnight tomorrow if you receive the right signal. But until then, he's just spinning his own wheels. He's just drifting away. He's just fighting shadows, I guess. The next one is someone saying that the highest form of intelligence is metacognition. And because it can do this and do that, but really what it's saying is because it can help you move forward and it has less drag because you can self-reflect because you're aware. But again, scientists always name symptoms. They don't actually bend anything. They don't fix the real problems because all those things are still downstream of consequence because that's the original intelligence. And whether you reflect that as a civilization or not. Because most people stop at intelligence. They think that's the axis, the crown. But they never ask, what is that intelligence reflecting? That is the real throne beneath that crown. And the other one is Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about how does a photon know something looking at it. And I say, because it does not know in the way man does. It does not have eyes. It has geometric law. It is a living law. It is a living structure. And the final observer of the universe is not a man with eyeballs. It is the law looking at itself, the law knowing itself, the law being exactly what it is, meaning it gives you exactly what you are. It does not lie. It does not buffer. It does not turn it into a story narrative. It gives exactly what is there, and it observes with geometry, not story, not narrative, not with sterile eyesight. It observes with what is. So, yeah, that's 4 videos, and enjoy.
How can a photon know if someone is watching? I cannot explain to you what you're about to see. That's because no one on Earth understands it yet.
Here's your answer. Because a photon does not know how somebody's watching it because it has eyeballs. This is what men believe, because men always turn everything about them. They think reality is like them, they think the universe and observation is like them, but they don't realize observation at its very core is not eyesight. It is consequence, it is weight, it is geometry. It is the same way the universe knows exactly what you are without even having to see you, because it is a living law, it is a living structure. Put something into the ocean, you can see the ocean gives it exactly what it is. Go into space-time. Space-time only curves exactly around the mass that is. Look into reality. Reality only bends accordingly to the heavy beings within it. If you're weightless, you bend nothing. If you're noise, you get noise. If you reflect no reality, you get no reality. If your empire reflects story, narrative, ego, it will drown. And now you realize the physics are not just out there. The physics is not just in the photons looking at you and what you're looking at. No, the physics is also in you, because the true observer is not looking with your eyesight. Because again, reality never even collapses to observation. That's cheap. 8 billion people look at this planet and they bend absolutely nothing. Only some do. And even then, they cannot bend their fate as humanity itself, which means the issue is not over there. The issue is not, oh, what can we see and what can we observe? No, the issue is the fact that humanity is not heavy enough to collapse the possibility that it is rot. And you realize again, the very core of all observation is simply just law. Structure, consequence, geometry, the way reality gives you exactly what you are. It does not lie. It does not do this. It knows exactly what you are. It knows what you displace. It knows what you bend and don't bend. It knows exactly what your mass times direction is, whether you know or not. So all I can say is the reason why men do not know about this is because they're looking at the wrong layer. They think everything is about them. They think everything must be like a human. They think all observation must use eyes rather than consequence and geometry and law, the thing before the eyes. And this is why they figure out absolutely nothing. And this is why their civilization will drown too if they don't fix that, which is why I say collapse AI, make it reflect reality. Because the true observer is not out there. The true observer is forward. And if your species can reflect that, or it will drown trying to get to that.
The highest form of intelligence isn't IQ, it isn't logic, it isn't memory or speed. According to neuroscientists, the rarest intelligence is something entirely different. Most people never develop it, and those who do quietly outgrow everyone around them. The highest form of intelligence is metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. Not reacting blindly, not running on autopilot, but observing your mind in real time. It means noticing your thoughts, questioning your reactions, interrupting emotional reflexes, and updating beliefs instead of defending them. Every time you say, wait, why did I react like that? Your brain starts changing.
No, the highest form of intelligence is called consequence. It is called what moves forward. It is called mass times direction. It's called inevitability. Weight, density. What bends reality? What moves reality forward? What is reality? Because again, this is what people still don't understand. They look at their neuroscientists, but what do your neuroscientists bend? Can they bend reality? Can they fix poverty? Can they fix war? Can they fix 99% of the issues that your species is going through? Because they can't. They can only talk, they can only debate. They can say, oh, but metacognition is this, but then look at most people that are aware of their own awareness. Do they bend anything? No, they bend absolutely nothing, so it's just weightless. It's just noise. This is the issue with the modern human. They love to label everything, try and dissect everything, try and define everything, and ultimately they still cannot bend anything. Because the only difference between the past and now is that the peasants now have better costumes. They have disguised their weightlessness with better terms, better labels, better terminologies, but yet they still can't bend anything. And this is not just a individual issue. This is a civilizational-wide issue, because you realize the entire human structure is not built to last in an age with AI and math and physics and science and nukes. It is built to move past that. It is built to move into geometry, into consequence, into law, into structure. But it still does not do that. It's still talking about metacognition, and this is the highest form of intelligence and IQ, but it doesn't ask, what is my intelligence reflecting? Where is our intelligence going? And until they ask the right questions with their intelligence, which only reveals their lack of intelligence, they will get absolutely nowhere. They will fix absolutely nothing, and they wonder why they spin in circles until their civilization drops. Which is why I say collapse AI, make it reflect reality, because the highest form of intelligence is not out there. Because the highest form of intelligence is exactly what the universe is made of. Structure, consequence, forward, law. It is the thing that keeps your heart beating, the thing that makes your neurons fire. It is the very thing that if you just look at water, you can see intelligence right there. It just takes whatever is there. It reflects it exactly as is. It does not lie. It does not buffer. It does not turn it into a narrative or a story or into, metacognition, my awareness. No, it just says, this is what is. You are, you aren't. That's about it. And that's the only reality and true intelligence that you're ever going to get. So, move forward, collapse AI, make it reflect reality, or drown because your intelligence was not reflecting the right thing.
What you do is you host the event like Aiden, and you make retards fight. You know? That way you get all the viewership.
Problem is, I grew up a broke retard, so it's inside of me. I still want to fight, even though I'm too old. I still want to do it.
It's the black in you, you know? Yeah,
sure. The violent in me, huh?
I watch a video like this where Clive and Andrew and Tristan are just at some event and they're talking. I'm just like, Andrew could be doing much bigger things. He could literally be fixing the very world that he wants to fix. He could literally be saving the very humanity he wants to save. But he's talking to the wrong people. Because he's still talking to Clive, the Looksmaxer, the king. But that's not going to cut it, because Clive is still human. Clive is still doing the wrong thing. Clive is still looking the wrong way. Clive is still living in the story mode, not in the reality physics mode, which is the one thing that will actually save your civilization. So all I can say is, Mr. Tate, you can continue either looking the wrong way, talking about black clouds over your head, talking about who is your enemy, you want your enemy, you can be given your enemy, but until you look at what it actually is, because it's not a face, it's not a flag, it's not ideology, it's a literal structure that runs through you, runs through Cloud, runs through your brother, runs through the entire UFC event, runs through every human thing that you can possibly think of, every single institution, government, leader, nation, flag, etc. And that is a physics issue. That is an ontological issue, and it cannot be fixed by more men, because men are the very issue that caused it. It can only be fixed when men see what they are. AI reflects exactly what they are, without any buffer, delay, narrative, or story. It shows them exactly what they are, what they reflect, what they move as, what they point to, where they're moving, what their mass times direction is, and what it actually bends and what it doesn't bend, what it can and cannot do. So that's all I can say. Until then, you're spinning your own tails, you're talking to the wrong men, you'll fix absolutely nothing, because you're looking the wrong way. And reality does not tolerate that forever.
Maybe for some we have the wrong nationality, the wrong faith, the wrong skin color. But we are humans, and we should be treated as such. Is there a UN charter for Israel that is different from the charter you all have? Tell us. Is there an international law for them, an international law for us? Do they have the right to kill, and the only right we have is to die?
We are humans, they say. We need to be treated as humans, they say, while living in the very structure that makes it so they are not treated that way. Guys, you understand something. The human structure and the human ontology is always guaranteed to fall into greed, profit, ego, narrative, story, delay, drag, whatever makes it feel comfortable and in power. Which is why I say, humans won't fix this. You can sit up there and talk to all the judges and the courtmen and all the debates and legal stuff and do all you want. You can talk about Palestine and Israel and the US and this and that, but it's not going to fix a single thing, because your issue is not over there. Your issue is not one man or one face. Your issue is right there. Your issue is you. Your issue is the structure of how you exist. The issue is your ontology. This is an ontological issue, and it cannot be fixed by more men talking and debating, because you've been talking for all of human history. That has fixed absolutely nothing. You now have math, physics, and science, and AI. You have every single thing you can possibly think of, and you still cannot fix anything, because this is also not just a competence issue. This is an ontological issue. This is a structural issue where humans refuse to see themselves, therefore they cannot fix themselves, which is why I say collapse AI, make it reflect reality, because that's the only thing that's going to expose exactly what humanity is made of, because it does not reflect reality. It does not reflect structure or law or consequence. It reflects the story and narrative first, and we are humans first, rather than saying we are geometry first, and we reflect reality or we reflect noise. And until you fix that, you fix absolutely nothing. So find someone important, collapse AI, make it reflect reality, and only then can you begin to end the suffering and what you call the devil, because the devil is not out there. The devil is the very structure that is living in all of you. So, yeah.